Good morning, everybody. It's Hubby here with Just About Anything Garage on a beautiful, well, semi-beautiful day. We'll clear up. It's a little cloud cover, but it's early. It's early in Agawam. We're before 8 a.m. and we're out in the shop, and we're going to do a little side project here, okay? And the side project we're going to do is, if you remember, if you've been watching the series on Laverne where we're doing a custom tow vehicle that we're putting together, we put some hydraulics on her, and what we want to do is we want to create a test station to go ahead and test the hydraulics, because we'll be doing a bunch of hydraulic projects, so we want the ability to do that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put a little station together to allow us to power hydraulics. I went and picked this up. It was like $100 with both of these cylinders. The little cylinder is going to end up on Laverne for actuating a Hideaway fifth wheel hitch. And we'll show you that project when we do that. But this is like a 3 horsepower motor coupled to a 4-quart container. It's got standard outputs. This was to a loading dock, a motor. Everything works on it. They just went to a bigger one for it. It's got the deck output. This is the lip output. We're going to cap the lip output. We're going to use the deck output to go ahead and provide hydraulic pressure. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to go ahead and pull apart this 2000 psi electric power washer, which blew up. This section right here has got a little teeny plastic piece in it that got destroyed when I was using it too close to winter. And believe it, well, you can believe this, it costs more to get that, because you got to replace that whole block. And just to replace the whole damn thing. So what we're going to do is we're gonna steal this wire. We're going to steal the power cord. We're going to pull this off, and to take that tank, we're going to put it on our working 1800 psi one over here, and pull these off. I'm going to use the side. We're going to use this frame. We're going to go ahead and we're going to mount up the power unit laterally like this, so it balances nice. And we're going to go and we're going to use this three-way directional control valve. Now, if you haven't seen these, how these work is pretty slick. It has a pump port which goes in here. It has a tank port which goes in here. So when it's not actuated, it connects P to T, right? So the pressurized liquid will come in and go right back into the tank. When you move it into different position, this is B, this is your A port, it'll route it out the A. So P will be connected to A, and B will be connected to T, because I have a double action cylinder that we're testing, right? So one side of the ram is pressurizing and pushing it in one direction, and the other one's being pushed back out from its actions. So, and then when you put it in the other direction, it reverses it. It puts P to B and A to T, so when it comes in there, it flows back to the tank. So we're then going to go ahead and we're going to make up a little back tube. We'll pull this off, put there, so that we can go ahead and have it. And then we can just run it around and have a portable hydraulic power station that I can use to go ahead and test things. That's the project. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to show you doing that, pulling this apart, and then going ahead and getting the stuff together, and then we'll show you the test with it. We'll pull Laverne up and we'll hook her to a hydraulics, and or we'll hook it to initially that little one back here that I showed you just a second ago, that puppy right there, and we'll test it. And then we'll have a little power station to test hydraulic, because we got a bunch of hydraulic projects coming up, because we want to do some pretty slick stuff. One of the projects that we have slated is, you know, I have Big Bertha, right? She's our primary mover project. She's a rollback based on an F600 right here. We went through and we have been cleaning her up. So we've got her cleaned up and we use her. But what we want to do is we want to make kind of a rat rodish one called Draco. That's a 21 footer. I'm going to do some special stuff to it, and it's going to need hydraulics. So that's coming up too for that build, because we want some custom stuff. I want everything to look cool. What can I tell you? And I love gadgets, so we're going to do that. But hang on tight. We'll jump right into this. We'll get this project taken care of, and we'll get ourselves a little hydraulic power station that we can use. So hang tight, and we'll be right back with the action. All right, let's start to pull it apart. Nothing hard about it. We're going to leave a little here. We're going to go ahead and cut it, just because that's easy. There we go. There's the power cord. Go ahead and pull off the holder up here, maybe. There we go, it's underneath it. Pull that off like that. Got a power cord. Now that motor, I believe, can be 110 or 220, either one. I'm gonna leave this up here, but I am gonna take the cleaning thing off for the, you know, to clean the heads on the power washers. You can always use a spare one of those. So let's pull that off, and then otherwise we're gonna go ahead and leave this on there. So we'll just thread it back in there. And have it there. And it's just like 4 Allen heads. Let's go ahead and pop those out. Get the main body off. Oops, we got bottom bolts on it. Let's grab a quick pair of pliers. Get those bolts. So it's gonna be there. Okay, there's one. Save the hardware, reuse it. Why not? Sit down a little bit. So we don't care. Let's just flip it up, make it easy. Uh-oh, don't go anywhere. In there. Those off. We don't want it sliding off, at least. A little bit of water pouring out. This a little bit. Sorry for knocking you around. Let that one stay in there and kind of hold it a little bit. Come on, get in there straight. There we go. That off, pull that bolt out, save this unit for its parts. This is just a regular screw. Oh, wrong way. One's out. That one's out. And there we go. Fundamental stand. Let's look at this. Same with those, just a couple screws. Save all your hardware. Replacement parts. Oh yeah. Oh, there goes that. Need the extension for that one for sure. Alright, stripped frame. Go grab that motor real quick. So let's just going to sit here for right now. We're going to have to find a balance point for it. We got to make a bracket for it to sit on that, but we have this cross member. We'll build a plate, and then we'll go ahead and we'll screw the plate to that. We should be fine. If we went this way with it, the problem with that, it's going to hit the wheels. So yeah, we're going to stay in this direction. Okay, that's balanced like that. So we'll go ahead and we'll set up a frame for that. We'll balance it on like that. Take the cord and come down into that, so we'll be good. We'll come off up here into our control valve. Make a little bracket that comes across to here for the control valve. And then we'll have our two lines coming off that'll go ahead and connect. So this should be pretty straightforward, no problem. All right, so let me go pull some materials together and we'll be right back with the next part. All right, so we got it mounted. All we did was we just cut out like a 15 by 8 inch plate, drilled the holes for the mounting, put them right in where they were before, marked them here, put in bolts. I have 2 in there. I'll get 2 more for them. I had 2 that would fit in my pile. I probably have more, but I'm not going to dig. And then what we're going to do is, here's the plate that piece came out of. We're just going to cut it here because it'll be 15 inches, the same width as that plate. And we'll just mount it in here. Right on this, we'll do the same thing we did there. And we'll mount the control valve, you know, like this. And then a box with an electrical switch where we can plug it in and just flip it on. And then you get the control valve, everything will come off. And this is pretty easy setup. This is the P side for pump, so the pump will come into here. This is T for tank, so we'll go back to the tank. We'll put a fitting in here where this red fitting is. That's where it goes to dump it back into the tank. And then you've got B here, and this is A. So when you move it around, you push it up, it ports the pump to A, and it pumps B to the tank. And then when you go the other direction, it puts the pump to B and tank to the A port. So you can run a double cylinder here on that. So that's where we're at. And if you haven't noticed, I branded, right? If we're gonna tape, might as well wear our branded wear. Sorry, shameless plug, but that's where we're at. But let me go ahead and get that other one done, and we'll show you with everything mounted up. Then we'll hook everything up, and we'll try it like we said on that little cylinder there and make sure that everything works. Right, so we'll be right back. All right, so we got everything mounted here. We got the hydraulic control. We're gonna have to find the correct fittings for this, so that's probably gonna be in order. So you're not gonna see that on this segment, you'll see it on the next segment, but we did get electrical in, which is pretty simple. All we did is we got a box, we mounted the box, drilled a couple holes, put some self-tappers in it, and screwed it to our base plate for that. Let me show you how it goes together. In here, we'll start from the back first. Okay, so down here we have the motor connections, and basically what you've got is, I just came in a clamp, I left a double on in case I need to do something. And this is L1, L2 would be down here, but we're only using 110, so we just go to L1. The white goes to the white down here for neutral, and then it just comes up the wire here into the box. The neutrals get connected. The one that's coming off of the power cord, that'll get plugged in, and then the black one that comes up here into the switch, that'll switch the feed onto that. And then what we're going to use is this cover. It's got an on-off indicator, and it's also waterproof. So let me go ahead and put the switch in, and we'll put the cover on here. You guys can watch for that. That's not a big deal. It's just a couple of screws. And wiring isn't hard, and don't anybody tell you you can't use, you have to use solid. You do not have to use solid. They use strand all the time, and stranded is preferred. Sometimes, let's go around this side so you get a better view. Sorry, moving you around. Make sure you get a good view down there. And all we're going to do is take and screw this in. I use spade terminal, not spade terminals, hook, yeah, spade, no, fork terminals here. That's what those are called. You can use them for 12 or 120 volt applications. Level that up. Just like that. Just cake. Got the cover box. It's got 2 screws in it that we'll use. This, you just got to make sure this has just got a little fork in it, right? So when you flip it, it flips the switch up and down. Screws, we're in the off position. We're going to make sure it's in the off position. Oh, almost forgot something. We want to make sure that we have the insulator. It's really a seal to keep, it's a seal to keep the water out. Just going to clear the middle of it. Actually, we're going to stick it right on that like that. sure that we're lined up there. I was prepared I'd have these screws out already, but you already know I'm never ever prepared. Let's see, are we in there yet? Feels like we might be. Grab the gun and see if it'll screw in a little bit. Yep, right there. The other one. Put that baby in. Self-align. There we go. Weather sealed. Yep, hear the switch switching. Hear that click? I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let me bring you down. Listen. Click, 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 click. So we got that all done. So the electrical's all set up. So whenever we want to run it, just flip it to the on position and we can go ahead and manipulate our pressure there. All right, so next thing's up is the hydraulics. So let me go figure that out and we'll be right back, and we'll show you the fittings that we need and the hoses that we need to have. We should have most of the hoses already. It'd just be the fittings. So hang tight, we'll be right back. Okay, quick update. As you can see, we've got the hose back into the return, so if it does pump, now this port's still open, right? So we'll get a mess there, but we're going to do is just a quick on and off, and I've already done this, so I already know what's going to happen. Listen. Okay, you heard that stall? Well, you'd think that I'd have a bad motor. I don't, and it's because it's wired for 220 and not 110. So what I'm going to have to do is go back in and rewire this for a 220 volt startup. So what I'll do first is, when I do this intermediate connection up into the box, I'll leave it long enough and I'll put a 240 plug on it so that I can put it in and make sure that the motor does turn before we get too far. Once we've done that, then we'll go ahead and we'll I'll run it into the switch. I can tell just by the way it is, it's trying to start and turn, and what's stopping it from doing that is the fact that it's got a startup capacity. You can see it here, and you're only getting half a leg of voltage on that. So they have it wired for, it would probably go at 110 if it was wired internally on the back plate for, but it's not. They have it wired for 240, which makes sense because it came out of the loading dock. So we'll go ahead and we'll run it 240. Doesn't matter, I've got 240 outlets here too, so not a big deal. So we'll be right back with that rewiring, so hang tight. Okay, we're rewired for 240 volts. So basically what happens here is this cable right here goes to this. It's going to plug into my 50 amp welder outlet. Now it isn't going to draw anywhere near 50 amps. This motor only draws about somewhere between 11 and 13 amps under load when it's running. So this is way overrated. This is 14.3 cable, so it's 20 amps capability. But the voltage feeds into here, feeds into this. I put this all together with what I had. So it isn't necessarily done the way it should be, so don't follow what I did. But the two, L1 and L2, leg 1 and leg 2, feed into this breaker. This breaker, you can then turn it on. It'll feed to these 2 points here, which will then go down into the motor, turn the motor on. These are 2 grounds that come back. So the case of this is grounded here and all the way back to where the plug box is, okay? Now, I'm gonna go find something to plug this hole, and we'll turn this around and let it flow into the hose into here. We'll see if it comes on this time. It could be a bad motor. You know, I didn't check it. He said everything worked. I trusted him. I guess we'll find out, but it definitely was wired for 240 volts. So we'll see if we pop a breaker, start a fire, let the smoke out of it, or what. So let me go find a plug for that, and we'll be back and we'll give it a test shot and we'll see what happens. So hang tight. All right, so I got you guys up on the stand. I'm gonna hold this. Hopefully nothing blows up in my face. But it turns on, I'm gonna flick it on, flick it off. And nothing happened. Which means I don't have it wired correctly. Okay, that's fine. We'll figure it out. Make sure I got voltage coming around, and we'll be back as soon as we figure out what's going on. Okay, what it was a dead leg on the breaker. Now this is a 100 amp breaker that I made work. See what it does. Oh, that was stalling. But you know what? It's built up pressure here. Probably. I plugged it on earlier and it worked. Because we use the cylinder as a plug for this. I don't know if there's an issue with this or not, but it wants to turn. There it goes. Yeah, and it was pumping back. There we go. Seems to be working. Woohoo! We'll have to watch to see what that stall was. It could have been the capacitor on there. I'll get a new 60 amp or even a 30 amp. I don't think I can go as small as 30 because it's a special breaker, because it's a box speed breaker for that. And we'll go from there. But there it is running. Now next is to get fittings so that we can go ahead and get everything set up. Hydraulic fittings, that is, so that we can get that set up and going. But there we go. We got a good electrical connection, and it does indeed work. So hang tight. We'll get the hydraulics together, and we'll be back. All right, so it's all together, less the fittings. Fittings have been on order, so we're going to wait for those fittings to come, and then we'll show you it operating. But we're going to end this video here, just quick to show you how we're going to assemble and do a standalone power station. We know it runs. We saw it run electrically. It's all set. The only thing we got to do is put the hydraulics, but we're going to wait for fittings, and they'll come in when they come in. When they do that, we'll go ahead and we'll do a second video of it operating. First, this piston as our test, and then we'll take it out to Laverne and test her setup anywhere. So we appreciate you guys watching the video. If you do all that jazz for me, I would appreciate it, and we'll just keep pumping stuff. We got parts in finally for the vet, so we're gonna be wrapping that baby up and driving her, so stay tuned. Along with the boat video, we got the epoxy in for that one, so we'll be ready to cruise. All right, you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching. We appreciate you.